Jamie the Gymnast's wrong direction. Please stop! I need to get off the bus! He'd done it again. Jamie was really bad at directions, and he'd only gone and got on the wrong bus. I'm sorry, son. You'll have to wait till I get to the next stop. I can't just stop a bus anywhere, you know. There are rules. Jamie sank into his seat on the number 22 bus, and a big frown formed on his face. Mainly because he was meant to be on the number 19 bus. He couldn't believe he was headed in the wrong direction. He had gymnastics practice in 15 minutes. The clock was ticking. He simply wouldn't make it on time. When the bus eventually stopped, he ran and ran and ran to get to the gymnasium. As he hurtled through the market, it started raining. He picked up his pace, but by the time he got to gym practice, he was out of breath, soaking wet, and just truly miserable. His coach took one look at him and sent him home. What a waste of time. As he went back out into the rain, his frown got even bigger. "How can I be of assistance?" said a chirpy voice, seemingly from out of nowhere. Jamie looked up, and there was someone dressed in red, wearing black boots and a futuristic helmet that looked like it belonged on a spaceman. I said, "How can I be of assistance?" Jamie had no idea who this was, or why they had a utility belt with the letter D on it, but he was a bit worried. "Don't be frightened, for I am Super Dexter." Well, this changed everything. Everyone had heard of Super Dexter. The stories of his good deeds had been told around Jamie's village, but never before had he seen what he looked like. Jamie plucked up the courage to ask a question. "Are you really him? Are you Super Dexter?" "That's me," she chirped. "I'm here to help. You look soaking wet and you look so sad, so I'm going to use this." Super Dexter had produced a huge fan from his averagely sized utility belt. Immediately, it started blowing warm air and drying Jamie's clothes. "Oh, this is amazing." "Thank you, Super Dexter," said Jamie. The frown had disappeared, and he was smiling from ear to ear. And with that, Super Dexter was gone, and Jamie began his walk home. He felt a bit better. After all, not everyone gets to meet Super Dexter. The following day, Jamie was arriving at school. Late. Once again, Jamie's terrible sense of direction had meant 3 wrong turns and 2 attempts at asking people for directions. "Oh, you're not lost again, are you?" said Alison, the local parcel delivery driver. "You'd be no good at my job. I have to find places all the time to deliver these parcels to." Jamie knew she was right. As he sat down in class, Jamie's frown started to form again. Bigger and more frowny than before. Oh, he hated missing out on things, and this morning he had missed show and tell. Yesterday he'd missed gym practice. What else was he going to miss this week? That evening, he had just about managed to get to gym practice without messing up the directions too much. He even managed to get on the number 19 bus this time. At practice, Jamie's coach had a long talk with him. "I know you're not good with directions, mate, but you are a really talented gymnast. I want you to do well in the tournament, but you are just so bad at directions. I'm really worried you won't make it on Friday. So what I've done is print you out a very clear map. And on the map, I've written instructions for you. And on the instructions, I've drawn pictures of nearby buildings so you will know exactly where you are." "Oh, thank you, Mr. Thorne. That's really helpful." Jamie's frown eased. People can be very kind sometimes. Before he knew it, Friday had come. It was the day of the big tournament. It was everything he had trained for. It was a crisp, blustery spring morning, and Jamie certainly had a spring in his step. He knew his routine, he had his special map, and he was ready to do his best. He took out the map that Mr. Thorne had given him and started walking down the first street. He read the directions and took his first corner. The picture of the library Mr. Thorne had drawn just looked exactly like the library on the corner. He was nailing it. At last, things were going well. The weather was nice, the map was working, and then, out of nowhere, A gust of wind blew the map out of Jamie's hands, and down the road, past the library and over the top of the number 21 bus. It flew down the street so quickly that there was no way Jamie was going to catch it. He ran and he ran and he ran, but he couldn't get to it quickly enough. And before he knew it, the map was gone. And he'd run so much he had no idea where he was. Jamie saw a nearby bench and sat down. He had absolutely no chance of making the tournament. All his gymnastic practice had gone to waste. His frown was now so big, it took up half of his face. "How can I be of assistance?" said a chirpy voice that seemed familiar. "Oh, Super Dexter!" exclaimed Jamie. "Yes, it's me, and you do not look too happy. What can we do?" Jamie explained what had happened, and that he was now lost. Does sound like a tricky situation," said Super Dexter. "Just one moment." And with that, Super Dexter managed to get a rather large hoverboard out of his averagely sized utility belt. "Hop on board, Jamie. We have a gymnastics competition to get you to." "Woo-hoo-hoo!" exclaimed Jamie as the hoverboard took them past the number 19 bus, past the number 21 bus, past the map that had blown out of his hands, which he grabbed as he went by, and whoosh, right to the front door of the gymnasium. "I've done all I can. This is your moment now," said Super Dexter. And just as quickly as he appeared, Super Dexter was gone. Jamie opened the door and his coach was waiting. "So did the map work?" asked Mr. Thorne. "Sort of," said Jamie. "Could all competitors get to the main hall immediately?" Mr. Thorne looked at Jamie. "This is your moment. I've done all I can." Which is funny, because that's exactly what Super Dexter had said. Surely Mr. Thorne wasn't really... No, no, he couldn't possibly be. There was no time for such thoughts. However, it was time to compete. Jamie was a fantastic gymnast. He showed incredible vaults and showed amazing coordination throughout his whole performance. He might not be good at directions, but he knows his way across a balance beam. The judges were incredibly impressed, and Jamie came away with the first medal that day. The frown was long gone. His face was illuminated by a huge smile, and Mr. Thorne was delighted. "Jamie, well done!" he shouted. "Thank you, Mr. Thorne." Jamie ran up to his coach to say thank you again. "I'd love to stay and chat, but I have someone I promised I would go and help out this evening." "Well done, though. You've done amazingly." And with that, Mr. Thorne picked up his bag and started to leave. Just as he was going out of the door, Jamie noticed something hanging out of Mr. Thorne's bag. It looked like there was a belt in there, and he could just make out a letter on it. It looked like the letter D. Thank you to Dexter for coming up with the character of Super Dexter for our story today, Jamie the Gymnast's Wrong Direction, which was given to us by our story master, Jamie. Jamie the Gymnast, Dexter from Super Dexter, brilliantly inspired. I wonder where you got those ideas from. Thank you very much for getting involved. And remember, you can come up with your own characters for stories using our brilliant StoryQuest character creator. Come up with anything that you like over on the Fun Kids website. And now, over to our story master for this week. It's Jamie. What, Jamie, you sent us the idea for Jamie the Gymnast. Tell us, why a gymnast called Jamie?
I don't know, because my name's Jamie and I do gymnastics.
Oh, well, that makes so much sense, doesn't it, mate? What's your favourite thing about doing gymnastics?
The tumbling, probably.
Oh, which part's the tumbling?
Why you do, like, the backflips.
Oh, what, on a trampoline or just on the ground?
Like on an air track.
Okay. Do you ever do anything with the rings and stuff?
Yeah, sometimes.
What do you think you're best at in gymnastics?
Probably vault.
Oh, okay, the vault. And you're learning, like, quite complicated trampolining, aren't you?
Yeah.
I can jump on a trampoline. I can do a backdrop. What's the hardest part of trampolining?
The backflips with twists in.
Well, listen, Jamie, thank you so much for sending over your story idea. Got an idea for a story? Tell us the title at funkidslive.com/storyquest and we could bring your story to life. For a new story each week, Make sure you hit subscribe or follow so you don't miss a single episode.